Well, good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you so much for sitting down for this conversation.
Thanks for having me.
Appreciate your sending the video for the EJ conference. We had about 500 people there, and your presentation received one of the loudest applause of the conference. So you didn't get a standing ovation quite, but you got some good applause.
Well, that gives us something to shoot for. We'll shoot for that standing ovation the next time.
Well, if you show up next year, if you can work in your schedule next year, then you'll get more than a standing ovation. I understand you had planned to come, but the president asked you to go overseas.
That's right.
Okay, well, we
These
cannot
things
compete.
happen, but I will certainly put it on the calendar for next year.
Well, we'll make you the keynote speaker. We'll do
That'd
that
be
right
great.
now.
Okay.
I wanted to talk to you for a few minutes just about environmental justice. And I wanted to find out what is the vision that the Obama administration has for environmental justice over the next 4 years?
Well, President Obama clearly understands that too often the impacts of environmental pollution fall on the poor, and oftentimes that means minority populations. Those who are disproportionately impacted all over our country tend to be people who are poor and of color. And we are committed here at the Obama EPA in trying to redress that issue.
Well, tell us two or three things that, 2 or 3 goals that you have for environmental justice while you're here at EPA.
Well, the first is actually elevating the conversation and ensuring that what we're saying to people in what some people might call mainstream environmental communities is what we're saying to communities of color. And that is that the environmental movement is for all communities in this country. There is no one lock on an environmental issue. Environmentalism doesn't come in one shape or size. I like to say to people that the president's appointment of me changed the face of environmentalism in this country. And yet you and I both know that it didn't change it, it recognized it.
Sure.
This has been the face of many an environmental community grassroots movement across our country. So I want to make sure those folks have a seat at the table, and not only a seat, but that they also have a voice in the decision making in their communities.
Well, now when you say they have a seat at the table and a voice, how do we address the fact that some of the processes are very technical and complex in nature?
Absolutely.
And if you're not a scientist, then some of these issues you really don't understand. So having a seat at the table, how do we work on the capacity to actually participate, to understand both the substance and the process for participation?
Absolutely. I'm an engineer, and yet sometimes I sit in meetings and have to go back and refresh myself on technical backgrounds. So certainly that is a good point. I would point out 2 things. The first is that I've met with community members now in several communities across the country, and I intend as administrator to keep doing that. And it is always amazing to me that the advocacy may not be in the most sophisticated of technical terms, but people know what they want.
Sure.
At their heart, they want clean air, or they want a river system cleaner or cleaned up, or they're concerned about a site in their community that needs to be cleaned because it's been a blight for far too long. We don't want to move the conversation away from those issues to something esoteric, because that's what brought them to the environmental table, and that's where we want to have them sit. On top of that, we need to make sure we build their capacity. And EPA has had a small EJ grants program, which we're planning to continue and hopefully expand. We're also going to work more closely as a bringer together of other federal agencies and state and local governments around those issues. When I try to visit on an issue, I say to staff all the time, it's not just what we do. We have to make sure the city government is involved, the state government is involved, because long after EPA has kind of left the building, if you will, those issues in those communities will be there.
You mentioned other federal agencies. The Executive Order 12898, which established the environmental justice bases in the federal government, established the Interagency Working Group on Environmental Justice. What do you see the goals and objectives of the IWG over the next 3 or 4 years?
Well, I think it's going to be EPA's job to make sure that that IWG, that Interagency Working Group, is really stood up again and has real meaning in agency decision making here at EPA, but then at other agencies, even when EPA isn't in the room. We would like to sort of export the knowledge that we have on environmental justice issues, because certainly we are the expert right now in the federal government, but it shouldn't be that way. As important as EPA is on environmental issues, we now know, because the president has made it clear, that the Department of Energy is also very important to success environmentally. So is the Department of Transportation. So is the Department of Labor or Agriculture. So I think one of our fundamental roles here at EPA will be to export what we know and to really champion the idea of environmental justice being brought to the decision-making table in those other agencies as well. And certainly a recommitment to the executive order.
But how do you do that?
Well, it starts with me. I take very seriously the fact that as leader of this agency and as a fellow cabinet member, I have to be a champion for those issues at the cabinet table and within the Green Cabinet and across government with the president, of course, as well. But then I think it really boils down to how we implement that. And I think it means a resurgence and a refocus on the interagency working group, which we're in the process right now of working on.
Does that mean that you will be sending out notices to the other agencies, or?
It means that soon come we'll find that it will either be me or we're actually working with the White House on the idea of making sure that as we stand up again the Environmental Justice Working Group, that it really has the robust support of the White House as well.
That'll be good.
Yeah.
Be interesting to watch. Earlier, you mentioned making environmental justice a mainstream topic. Tell me, what do you mean by that?
Well, I think that the roots of the environmental justice movement and most Americans' vision of it is that it's something over there. It happens in a community that's not mine. It happens that as a just and fair person, I want to make sure those issues are brought to the table, but I don't see them as my issues. And I actually don't think that's a correct paradigm for any of us to be working towards. We know that rarely is pollution entirely localized. And so from a justice perspective, sure, I care about a community in Houston, say, that may be suffering the ill effects of air emissions from the refineries that are located right next to them. But as an American downwind of that issue, or as someone who may not live anywhere near Houston, but may have refineries upwind of me somewhere else, or as someone on the east coast of this country who gets prevailing winds, all those issues are actually tied together. And I think that it is very much Americans' central view that clean air and clean water and clean land are their rights as Americans. And you can't say that and in the same sentence say it's not all Americans' rights. So I want to join those two issues together, make sure that our issues in the environmental justice movement are the country's issues. They cannot be looked at as separately. There do not have to be winners and losers in this environmental game, if you will.